Hi, I'm Courtney, and this is the Monopoly Couple YouTube channel. As you can see, my counterpart is not here. We are doing solo videos occasionally to answer targeted questions or to share information from our own individual perspective and connect with you one-on-one in that manner. So today I'm going to be talking about guilt. This is one of the questions that I get asked often. As a polyamorous woman married to a monogamous man, don't you feel bad for what you're doing to him? Don't you feel guilty that he stays at home with the kids while you get to go out and do fun and crazy things? And I laugh, but there is some sincerity in those questions. I know that when somebody is curious about our lifestyle and what that looks like, and they hear the word non-monogamy or ethical non-monogamy or polyamory, they tend to go to just somebody banging a bunch of people as often as they can. And for me, that's not the kind of polyamory that is what I do. I am seeking having more than one romantic partner. So that includes an intellectual, sexual, and emotional connection. We talk more about that in other videos and what that looks like, about falling in love, the whole thing. But today is about guilt. But before we get into that, have you subscribed? We would be so grateful for you to join us and grow this community, share, like, do all of the things, ask questions, share your own experiences. One of the things that we wanted when we created this channel was for people who were non-monogamy curious, who were a part of non-monogamy in a variety of ways, felt safe to express themselves and come to a place where they felt seen. So we welcome your comments respectfully. So back to guilt. In the beginning, so we've had, our marriage has been open for about 3 years. My husband chooses to be monogamous, and he also feels that he was born that way, whereas I feel I was born polyamorous, and that is a part of who I am. So in the beginning, I had a lot of guilt. I felt awful because I saw how hard it was for him to grapple with this new reality that I wasn't going to only be his anymore. I didn't only belong to him. And while he was never possessive and never treated me like I was his property, we grew up in such toxic monogamous culture where people like, that's my wife, her body is mine and my body is hers, and she's not going to be going out and stepping out on me and all of these things. And while I don't advocate cheating, I also don't advocate ownership of other people. And even if it's cute or romantic, I find it actually very harmful. So in terms of the guilt, I had a lot of unlearning to do about what relationships looked like, what marriage looked like, what motherhood looked like. And that's really the topic that I tackle in my memoir that comes out in February. I'm really excited. It's about this journey from purity culture. I grew up very conservative, evangelical Christian. So my experience growing up from purity culture to being polyamorous and realizing that this is who I've always been and starting to accept that identity. So yeah, I did feel guilty because we don't live in a kind world. You can read some of the comments here and see that people are not accepting of lifestyles that color outside the lines. And that's exactly what Nate and I have created. There was a lot of shame I felt. Shame and guilt are different. Guilt is I'm doing something bad or wrong, and that feeling. And shame is I am something bad or wrong. And I can't tell you how many times I asked myself, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Why can't I just want to love one man? Why do I have this desire? Why do I have this pull to be with more than one romantic partner? That was really hard. Also, we didn't tell our kids in the beginning. We waited for about a year before we told them, and I hated lying. I felt guilty about the lying. I didn't feel guilty about going to see my boyfriend or go on a date with another man. But I definitely struggled with how do I reconcile what I've been taught about motherhood and what I've been taught about being a wife with who I truly believe that I am. And the more that I looked into what it meant to be in relationships, what love was, where love comes from, I just couldn't ignore the truth of who I was. And so I chose to embrace that authentic identity of being polyamorous. And the more I loved myself and the more I healed my relationship with myself, that guilt started to melt away. Do I feel guilty still? Like if I go on a date and Nate's at work or Nate's at home with the kids? I wouldn't say I feel guilty in as much as I feel torn. I have created such a strong relationship with Nate. We both have together. I love spending time with him. He is one of my most favorite people. I love my kids. I love being their mom. I love going to my son's games and getting, coffee with my girls. Like it's a gift. I'm super grateful. So I feel bad sometimes when I have to choose, but I also I'm about to hop on a plane to go visit some friends in London, and I'm gonna leave my family behind for a few days. And so I feel torn sometimes. It's the same way with dating. I know that being in this life is about making choices and embracing the hard, and being polyamorous in a monogamous culture is hard. And so one of the things I try to do is be a light to others and to share the struggles that I have. Sometimes I do feel guilty, especially when I connect with another man in such a powerful way, in such a way that feels similar to how the connection that Nate and I have. Nate and I have been together for over 20 years. I don't rank, I'm not into hierarchy, but that's a category in and of itself. I will never have somebody who's have our lived experiences, has shared children. So when I find somebody that sparks those feelings that are similar to what I've had with my husband, sometimes that feels like I should feel guilty. And then I have to unpack it and address it and say, why do I have to limit love? I don't. It's a gift. And in my case, it is a gift that is validated and shared and affirmed in my marriage. So if you're feeling guilty because you feel like there's something wrong with you, or you feel bad because what you desire takes time away from the people that you love, I would encourage you to consider how that activity fills you up when you're not there with them, and how that brings you back to be a stronger mom, dad, friend, lover, spouse, whatever it is. And that's really how I measure the activities that I'm doing. Is me going and dating this person, or is me going on this girls trip, or is me going on this work conference? Is this making me a stronger, better, kinder, more evolved human? And if it doesn't, then I probably won't be going. And if I do find myself feeling pretty guilty, it's usually because I chose an activity or I chose a person that didn't really align with who I truly am. So thank you for watching today. I will just continue to be posting videos, shorts. We have a monopoly couple Instagram page now. So if you want to follow us there, we would love that. I do most of the social media. Nate's not really a big social media guy, but if you do have questions specifically for him or for me or for the both of us, please comment. It doesn't always alert me for the comments, so I do my best to go back through and respond to every one of them. All right, have a wonderful day. Can't stop, won't stop.